Disclosure is progressing so rapidly right now that I simply can't adequately cover everything that's happening in a long video, so I'm returning to our short news bite format entitled Veiled Truths. Let's get right into it. April 13th, FBI Director Kash Patel posted that the Los Angeles field office conducted Operation Never Say Die, which resulted in the discovery and takedown of a $50 million healthcare fraud scheme. First, I want to point out that Kash Patel announced a couple of months ago that he was moving many FBI agents from the Washington, D.C. headquarters to field offices across the country, and now we are seeing these type of busts in many of the field offices. Coincidentally, former Obama and Biden political advisor, Jen Psaki, is now reporting multiple anonymous people saying that Patel has a drinking and violence problem on her CNN program. Of course, she says that the accusers are not all anonymous, but did not disclose their names for their protection. Guys, that's not how it works. In the United States, people are entitled to see who is accusing them, and anything other than direct testimony is inadmissible hearsay. This includes the Epstein victims and any other person who makes heinous accusations against anyone. You can't just accuse someone of rape anonymously. One reason that so many rape victims never report the crime is they don't want to be re-traumatized by insensitive defense lawyers who put the victim on trial for their clothing or behavior. Patel vehemently denies this fodder and filed a $25 million defamation lawsuit against the Atlantic reporter that originally published the story. That's what innocent people do. They don't counter with unsubstantiated accusations about their accusers. They put it in the courts so that proof is required. And speaking about unsubstantiated accusations, let's take a look at our tax dollars at work. Robert Kennedy Jr. was attacked by Democrats in the House Education and Workforce Committee about his stance to cut animal testing, while accusing him of cutting the penis off of a roadkill animal for research. He was then attacked for cutting food stamp benefits to many and requiring that SNAP recipients buy healthy whole food and not highly processed sweets and snacks, deeming them the Republican hunger cuts. Can you imagine the horror of that? In my personal opinion, he's doing a huge favor to those children consuming harmful poisons in mass quantities because their parents can't or won't take the time to prepare nutritious food. With these cuts, Kennedy is moving to protecting them where their own parents won't, and he's being villainized for it once again by concerned Democrats. But the best one is Tim Kaine, who is smack dab in the middle of the Minnesota Somali fraud case grilling Pete Hegseth, director of the Department of War, about a consensual affair and illicit child that he maintains never happened. Pete Hegseth maintains that any claim of sexual assault is an unsubstantiated claim. He has admitted to the affair and apparently even paid a settlement with a woman, but Kaine continues to frame the affair as an assault, which would qualify someone from office. My question is, when did adultery become a criminal offense? It certainly wasn't when Bill Clinton received oral copulation in the Oval Office, or when the Biden family ignored the existence of a Hunter Biden's drug-fueled conception of a love child outside of his marriage, and refused to pay child support or even acknowledge the child. His long-term and highly documented drug abuse was praised as a drug addict fighting to recover as photos of him in compromising situations with both female adults and children surfaced. The hypocrisy is over the top, and Democrats will stop at nothing to deflect from the true crimes that have been sanctioned by past administrations, which involves many current members of Congress. Also in the middle of the Minnesota fraud scheme totaling $9 billion so far is Ilhan Omar, who allegedly married her brother to gain U.S. citizenship. She also reported a net worth of $6 to $30 million in public disclosures just 1 year after she entered Congress, on a $174,000 a year salary. Her net worth when she entered office was disclosed as between $20,000 to $100,000, less than many watching this. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just estimate your income with a $24 million range on your tax forms? But of course it gets even better. Now she is claiming that since she wasn't involved in her husband's businesses, she didn't really catch the $30 million filing when she signed those forms. Let me ask you, would you catch a $30 million income over reporting on your tax forms or financial statements? It's all so ridiculous to expect us to believe this. But the tangible and documented evidence against the Minnesota Congresswoman didn't even stop there. Her husband's consulting firm got around $3 million from her 2020 campaign. And still more evidence includes their Sonoma, California winery, whose principal address is an empty storefront, so the Minnesota Somalians don't fall far from the tree. This successful storefront went from making $15,000 a year to another range of $1 to $5 million on a financial disclosure report filed just about a year ago on May 14, 2025. Then there's California Congressman Eric Swalwell's multiple accusations of rape and SA by accusers that are not anonymous and are actually pressing criminal charges rather than evaporating into the realm of anonymous, unsubstantiated accusations. Swalwell's response was to retract his campaign for California governor and resign from Congress. But the federal government isn't the only tax-draining governing body trying to protect crooked leaders. This one is just unbelievable. California is actually set to pass the Stop Nick Shirley law. This law criminalizes investigative reporters for investigating and reporting fraud by illegal immigrants, effectively violating the First Amendment right to free speech and freedom of the press that allows journalists to uncover and report crimes without government interference. I'll link a video by Nick Shirley, who attempted to interview numerous California lawmakers who completely refused to answer his questions as to why they voted to pass this law in California. One of them actually called Shirley a psycho scam artist. Now let's look at the Iranian news. The U.S. seized an Iranian ship that opened fire on an Indian cargo ship that it had given clearance to pass through the straits. The audio of this plea from the Indian ship to stop is quite compelling and will be linked in the description. The U.S. military then blew up the engine room to disable the Iranian ship after numerous warnings to vacate it. Now here's the fascinating part. Our weapons are so sophisticated that they blew up the engine room while the rest of the ship remained intact and was subsequently boarded and commandeered by our military. It's amazing how precise these weapons are becoming, and it's important to know that sources have reported the use of direct energy weapons, which I covered previously, and I'll link it in the description. Let's touch on a few more news bites. 7 months after the apparent murder of Charlie Kirk, defense lawyers have asked for a 6-month continuance for just the preliminary hearing on the probable cause. That's a really long time. So for whatever reason, the resolution of Kirk's death is being dragged out. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with this one, but as I stated when it first happened, the videos released of the shooting were confirmed AI-generated, and many anomalies point to the possibility that he was not killed on that day. I'll link my video detailing this evidence in the description. So hopefully, I've given you a lot to digest and research with the provided links. I urge you to always validate what is being said, no matter who it is or how much you trust them. I've been watching this congressional show of deceptive tactics for decades, but I want you to see for yourself how it all works when someone threatens the deep state. So stay tuned. I have an analysis coming up next of this new executive order by POTUS on psychedelic drugs for medicinal use. And I'll give you a heads up that in my opinion as an ex-pharmacist and drug regulator, it stinks to the high heavens and causes me great concern right now, but I am still researching it, and that's why I chose to do this Veiled Truths video first. If you want honest, validated opinion from someone who actually has an extensive background in medicine and how the medical matrix runs, please subscribe and be sure to ring the bell. I have been told by many that they are not receiving notifications of my new videos, and since they are suppressed, they don't show up in feeds as often as others who are condoned by the powers that be. So you need to hit that bell in addition to subscribing to be notified of my new videos. Of course, share this information if you find it beneficial, guys. People need to see the truth through the veil of contrived deception. I blame nobody for being asleep and supporting these deep state operatives, but it's time to wake up, and each and every one of you are now part of the disclosure process, so let's move this along. Knowing the headlines is one thing, but evaluating them for legitimacy is something completely different. If you like these veiled truth videos, please let know in the comments and I will continue them. Hit the like button and value each and every person in your life, because you just never know if you will have that opportunity tomorrow. One last note. Since my library of videos has become so large, I've decided to open a second YouTube channel entitled Toxic Free Living, Your Clean Living Lab. It will focus on escaping the toxin trap and taking back control with sound science and simple recipes and changes. I'm excited about this new channel. Of course, I will continue the original Ex-Pharmacist, which will be focused more on discovery of suppressed knowledge and the plan to free mankind. We're gonna get through this together and begin healing our tired souls, minds, and bodies today. We are all connected by our core essence, and it's our destiny and our nature to thrive as a collective. Always remember that I do this because I love you, your sister in soul, spirit.